Okay, so my topic is over dance. First off, I want to ask who knows Tupac? Who knows that Tupac actually performed in the infamous ballet The Nutcracker? Well, actually, he did, and he played the lead role, the Mouse King. And for those of you who are familiar with the ballet, you know that that is an actually really big part. So really, dance can be for anybody. It's not. It doesn't. You don't have to be athletic. You don't have to be, you know, anything in particular. Dance is really just for everybody. And so, in India, evidence have shown that the very first trace of dance was actually 9,000 years ago. And even though there was no physical artifacts of dance, we could tell through the illustrations of the paintings that it has very been much alive for a long time. But the very first documented evidence of dance was in the third millennia BC, and those were from the Egyptians, where they incorporated dance in their rituals and in their ceremonies. And so, really, dance has been around for a long time, and it's constantly growing and it's constantly evolving. And we make up dances every day. There's always new things coming out. And so sometimes we forget that we incorporate dance in a lot of our lives. And so, what I want to talk about is the culture of dance, the art it has, and the different styles of dance. Um, and so, again, going back to the fact that, dance is such a big part of our lives that we kind of forget that it's there. But really, for an example, dance, you can tell a lot about a person through their culture, and in different cultures, there's different versions of dance. And so, for example, for our quinceañera, everybody is familiar with a quince. It's a big party celebration for a young lady becoming a woman. And they always do a big dance to kind of show off the young lady and to, celebrate her, really. And that's just a tradition that we have had for a long time. And another example is weddings. We always do a father-daughter dance. We always do the mother-daughter dance, things like that. And again, it just all goes back to the tradition because it's very normal. We see that all the time. We expect it. But it's who we are, and it's where we come from. And not only is it a very cultural thing, it is also art. It's a language. It's a way to communicate. Dance can be very persuasive. For example, ballet is supposed to be very serene and soft, and usually it's about love. It's a love story that two ballet people are dancing together to tell a story. And another example is hip hop. That's probably one of the biggest styles of dance that we have, and you can tell whether a person is telling an aggressive story or a love story just by the body movements that they do. And so that brings me to my last point, just the different styles of dance. So I want to bring up 5 different styles that are really the most important, well, I wouldn't say important ones, but some dances that are more well known. So first off, contemporary. Contemporary is more of the general part of dance. It contains jazz, it contains ballet, it contains lyrical, and there's a lot of different subgenres within that. And contemporary, you can pretty much use any type of music. And so going on is ballet. Like I have mentioned before, ballet is actually one of the oldest forms of dance. And this is actually one of the most difficult because, as we all know, ballerinas are very athletic. They can hold themselves on their toes for long periods of time, and they can go into a leap so gracefully and come down so swiftly. And that takes a lot of body control. And so it can take years to perfect. And classical music is actually associated with ballet because it's more of a sophisticated style of dance. Moving on, the next style I want to mention is jazz. Jazz is a very upbeat style of dance. It's really for entertainment, really. And with jazz, you can find a lot of leaps and a lot of technique, jumps, things like that. And like again, that takes a lot of skill. But it's not as hard as ballet, but it's definitely for fun. It's very entertaining. And my fourth one is hip hop. And with hip hop, again, that's probably our generation's most favorited style of dance. Just because, again, we're always constantly making up new dances with the music that we have nowadays. And so in hip hop, you can find a lot of like break dance that was found in like the early 20s and has changed and grew within these years. And again, associated with that is crumping. That's a subgenre, which is a very intense movement. And then, you have your body rolls, you have your popping of your body. And again, that all goes to the story and the language of dance and how you can interpret things through that. An example of hip hop is Step Up. I know that many of y'all are familiar with that movie. And there's a lot of skill and technique that can be learned to really enhance your ability, to dance. My last point is ballroom dancing. This is probably my favorite just because it's more of a romantic, coupled style of dance. And actually, ballroom dancing originated in Latin America, but we have made it our own in America. And so some of those styles are what we know as the mambo, the merengue, the tango, bachata, things like that. And again, those are love stories, and so it's really entertaining to watch. So in conclusion, I just want to tell you how important dance is and how rewarding it can be. It is probably one of my favorite things just because, it contains so much more. It's more than just an activity. It's a way of life. It could be like a trademark. And it could be something that we can offer for the future generations. It's how we once lived. And so it's a story of us, really. So, yeah, thank you.